All right, y'all, welcome back to another Christmas light video. Today we're at my friend Cam's house here, and we're gonna do a fresh install, custom start to finish, and we're gonna be using the LED filament bulbs in the multiple colors. With that, let's get going. Now today we're actually using a 300-foot bundle pack. For those of you that don't know, we have these things bundled together. This is a 300-foot pack, comes with everything you need. All your bulbs, which this box is full of bulbs. We got clips here for the roof line and for the ridges. It also comes with your plugs, male and female, and obviously your line. Now this is a fully custom setup right here. We're gonna be cutting this line particular to this house. Now that's something that scares a lot of people. You don't need to be scared. It's super easy, and this makes everything super clean, simple, and classy. 12-inch spacing on the lights. You're gonna see it's an outstanding display. But if you are scared to put your own male and female plugs on, a lot of people are, that's fine. We have 100-foot packages that come with 25 foot already from the factory with the male and female plugs on, so you don't have to do that. We call that semi-custom. So we have 100-foot packages. You can buy a couple of those, or if you wanna go fully custom like we're doing here, we have a 300-foot package and a 1,000-foot package. Today we're gonna cut everything custom. I'm gonna show you how to do it, start to finish, and like I said, it's super easy. You can do it. All right, so you guys saw, actually, we did my buddy Jason's house in these. We call these the Charlie Brown look, the 1980s look. Some people call them the Stranger Things look. But we're doing Cam's house in this color array here. These are the filament bulbs. These are a lot brighter. To me, these look more modern, and this is a brand new house. It's only a couple years old, modern house, modern roof line, and things like that. So I think these are gonna look a lot better on this modern house, whereas these look really good on an older, more traditional house. So that's kind of the difference in what we're doing today. And just wait until you see how bright these are. They really stand out. All right, so we're 15 minutes in and we already have everything cut. What we did is, you saw we went up on the roof, we measured all the hips and ridges, and we measured the edges, and we have a little rudimentary map here. And now what we've done is we've cut our strands. So we have 30 feet going down that side, that's a 30. We have another one here that's for this peak. We have another one here that's for there. Everything is dry laid out, and then this is the hips and the ridges right here. And so you can see everything is laid out now. Now what we gotta do is put our clips on and then put in our bulbs. We're gonna do the male and female plugs and the jump cords last. If I put the plugs on now and something ends up being a little shorter, a little long, then I have to redo it. So we put those on last. The other thing is, I got a measurement of everything here. So our 30s, we actually cut them to 31. I always add a foot to everything. You can even add 2 feet to everything, just to make sure that everything ends up right. I'll show you why I do that in the end here. But again, everything now is dry laid out. So now we're just gonna put in our bulbs and clips and we're good to go. All right, so we got our first strand up, and I wanted to show you the clips we're using. So these are called shingle tab clips. And now we're fortunate because this house, I can get up underneath the shingles. You can see there, they're not super glued real tight. So the shingle tab clips is nice. They just slide right underneath, and these hold very stiff, not going anywhere. And because of the way the bulbs screw in, these are integrated clips, they're gonna be there forever. When you go to yank these down later, everything will come out, the clips will stay. So those are integrated clips, they're plenty strong, they're real thin, so they slide up underneath the shingles and don't hurt anything. Now we're gonna do a different treatment on the front, because on the front we're gonna use magnets on the fascia just because I think it looks a little bit cleaner. But as you can see, this is still a really clean, classy look, keeps everything factory spaced 12 inches apart. And that's really the key here, is that everything is perfectly spaced, every light has a clip. That's the clean, simple, classy look. Wait till you see it in the end. All right, so the way these work is they integrate in the line like this, and on this side it stretches around. They're a little bit of a pain to get on this way. Okay. So it kind of snaps in there like that, and the bulb goes like this. And then when you put this onto the gutter, it'll sit straight on the fascia and stick straight out. That's the way I prefer to do it. However, you do have the choice, and we'll get up there and look at it in a second. You do have the choice to have them this way, where they string like this, cross that way, and now they can hang down, or depending which way we do it, they can go straight up in the air. Okay, so you guys see we got our clips in, our magnet clips. Now what we're doing, because there's two of us working together and it's making this go really fast, is we're dry laying out the cord, and then I'm actually putting the bulbs in order. So I'm laying them out in the right order, just like that. So I got 5 there, start with purple, 5 there, start with purple, 5 here, start with purple. That way, as we come in, it's real easy to count, and then we can work together and get this done really fast. So there's little things you can do, like I said, by dry laying everything out and keeping it in the right order to start. It just helps you to work together so you don't double up a color or something like that. Okay, y'all, so 2 hours and 15 minutes. We are completely done with all the outline and about half of the hips and ridges. I actually ran out of bulbs. Stupid me, I didn't pre-measure.
I'm gonna be a little bit short on today's quota.
It's all right, buddy.
I'm the one teaching you how to do this. I didn't pre-measure, so I came up 50 bulbs short.
I'm a cotton-headed ninny-muggins.
So we're gonna come back next week and finish. But either way, we got the whole thing custom measured, cut, and put up, all of it except for one ridge. We got that all done in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So that just shows you how fast it is when you have a couple people working together. Now what I'm gonna do is string it all together, and we're gonna make our own extension cords and jump cords using this line right here. This is the exact same wire that is on the empty socket light line. There's just no sockets on it. So you can use this for all kinds of extension cords and jump cords, and it's easy to hide. So I'm gonna show you how to do that, because this is where we put our own male and female plugs on, and this is where people have the most questions. I promise you this is easy. Polarity doesn't matter. Left, right, doesn't matter. This is low voltage, so you just hook these in exactly like I show you, plug them in, and they work. So with that, let's go back now and let's talk about where our power source starts. All right, now as I mentioned in the beginning, I don't have any male or female plugs on anything yet. Everything is just set up there. We're gonna do that now. And the first thing we have to do is decide where our power source is. So I've come back here to the side because our main power source is in the back. So we're gonna start right there. Let me show you where the power source is. You'll see, we're gonna lay this extension cord all the way down. You'll be able to see, because this is so small, you can't even see it. It's gonna hide right here in the grass, nice and easy. And then it's gonna plug right in here. So there's our plug. And he's got a smart plug on there, so that way he can turn them on and off from inside the house. So that's what we gotta do now. We're just gonna lay this out, and we're gonna get the length we need to get up there and put the extension cord on. All right, now this is the thing that I get the most questions about, that people are nervous about. So this is our starting point. We're starting right there in a plug, right here, okay? So that's why we need this male plug right here, okay? This is our starting point. So here's the end of the extension cord that we're creating. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it on an angle like that, just a little bit, and then I'm gonna separate the two wires, just like this. There we go, okay? And then here's the male plug. Now, there's an open end and there's a closed end. And what you're gonna do is, there's a little splitter in there, so this goes down in here just like this. And you push it all the way down in there as far as it'll go, just like that. And now there's contacts. You see those gold things in there? Those are contacts. And what's gonna happen is when I push this over like this, and then I take this top, this is why it's called a slide plug. I take this top, and there's a tapered spot right there, and I push it over, and when I slide it, it's gonna make, when I slide it across there like that, those contacts are gonna push up into the wire. And that's as easy as it is. That's what electrifies it when it gets plugged in. So we got the slide here. We're gonna line it up like that. Now some people use pliers for this. I happen to have strong enough man hands that I can do it just like that. Slide over. Now those contacts have been pushed up into the wire, and now it's ready to go. Now I can plug it in. Now I'm not gonna do that yet because I'm gonna go put a female on the other end. All right, now we're at the other end. So I'm gonna cut this, just like that. And now I have a female that goes on this end. This is the extension cord. We were just at the other end and put the male on it. Now we're gonna put the female on it, and then a male's gonna go on here, and that's gonna power the line. All right, so same thing. We're just gonna do a little split right down the middle of it like that. Same thing, this is a female now, but we have an open end and a closed end, and the same thing, there's contacts in there. And so you just take that end right there and you stick it down in the closed end as far as it'll go. You fold it over across those contacts, and then you take your slide here, again, why it's called a slide plug, and you slide it over, and that will make the contacts enter the cord. And now we have a female. Now what I need to do is put a male on here, and then we're gonna put them together. Okay, so same thing here. Cut it on a little bit of an angle. And again, you could do this on the ground if you wanted to. I have just found it easier to do up here on the roof once everything is intact, so that way I know that all my lengths are good and everything. But there we go, so there's the male plug, there's the closed end. Insert this down in there, push it as far as it goes, fold it over, take your slide, slide it right over there like that, use your man hand strength, push it together, and there you go, now you have a male plug. Now here's the female from the other side that I just made. I'm gonna plug that in there, and then we'll go and plug it in at the source, and we'll get light. Now, this hanging, just so you know, usually I'll put a brick or something right there to hold that, which we'll do in a second, because that's a lot of weight right there that could pull that off. So you might want to put something there to hold it, but for now we'll just leave it. So there we go, we got our male and our female in. Now we're gonna go plug it in at the other side. Okay, moment of truth, here we go. All right, so there's an end of a run right down there, and then the next one starts here. And this is where jump cords come in. So this right here is super thin. I can lay this on the roof, nobody's gonna see it. So what I need to do is make a jump cord that goes from this end down to that end to connect this strand that's down here to this strand up here so we can keep going down the roof. So the way I'm gonna do that is create my extension cord or my jump cord first and then just plug everything in. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but these are lit up. So here's what we did. We brought this strand in and down there, and then we put a jump cord that goes from down there and hooks this next strand in. And you can see, we just use males and females at the ends, nice and logical. And this is hidden. Nobody's gonna see this from the ground because of how small and thin it is and dark. You can just set it right there on the roof if you want. And there we go. And now we have a jump cord on the other side that connects the other. So let's go to the other side over there. Okay, and now this strand comes in, and then once again, another jump cord that takes this one down and connects this line here down there. So 2 jump cords, and now we have a whole front all hooked up together, and we just use jump cords to get into the bare spots or the blank spots where we don't have lights. That's one of the big advantages to doing this custom is you can run these jump cords for yourself. Okay, everybody, we are back. Now, this is day 2, and the only reason we're here for day 2 is I forgot to bring enough lights. I bought a 300-foot package, I told you. This is actually gonna end up being about 250 total linear feet. I just didn't bring enough bulbs, so basically we had to come back for a second day, but we've got about 3 hours in on day 1. We're gonna have another hour in tonight, and that'll be it. 4 hours, start to finish, fully custom. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go up on the roof and we're gonna finish the hips and ridges. And I'm gonna show you some stuff up there, how those work, the clips we use. And then I'm also gonna show you how we power in using what's called a vampire plug. And that's part of the electrical piece. So let's get up on the roof, let's finish that off, let's get this thing done, and then we'll show you what it all looks like in the end. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you real quick, don't move. If you guys see like weird looking shots that kind of they look pixelated or whatever, it's this old school camera that producer Nick got. I really like the 80s look, you guys can tell. And so these old school cameras, they zoom in and out, it gives you like an 80s look. So you will see a lot of these kind of clips all throughout that look pixelated. That's what it's from. It's from this old school camera that he's using. Just want to let you know there's nothing wrong with your computer or anything like that. So, all right, now let's get up on the roof and finish up. All right, so we're finishing the hips and ridges. We didn't do these the other day. We cut everything, we just didn't finish. So what we've done is we've measured from down there up this hip here and then across this ridge here, and that's what this is. So we're gonna go ahead and put this up and I'll show you exactly how we put everything on, what clips we use and everything else, and you'll see we've got another ridge here that's already done, and so we're gonna tie those two together. So that's kind of what we're doing here to finish up. So with that, let's get after it. All right, so these are the ridge clips, and real nice, they just snap right onto the light there, and then they span the shingle and they clip in on the edges so they don't do any damage to the roof or anything like that. There you go, and look at that. Keep your factory spacing so everything stays nice and clean, just like we like it. The other thing is, you know, this is what really sets the display apart. Most people, they only do the edge of their house, but when you come up here and you do these hips and ridges, it gives your display depth, height, and that's really one of the things that sets this apart compared to everybody else around. Okay, so we got our ridges all wired up here. Now what we gotta do is bring power. So this is the end right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make an extension cord. I'm gonna take and put it on, attach it here. So I'm gonna make it my own extension cord, and we'll show you that. Male, female right there. But then I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna tap into the middle of one of the lines that's already got power to it. We've already put power to all of the roof line. We showed you that in the first portion of the episode. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a connection here, and we're gonna go all the way down and tap right into the middle of the line, and we're gonna use what's called a vampire plug. So before we go down there, let's go ahead and create an extension cord here that's gonna go from this here all the way down to there where we have live line, and it's gonna end up lighting all this up. So let's do that first. All right, so this is what we just made, this extension cord. It's coming from up there. This is the start of the light run, and this is the extension cord we made in the first segment. This is the power. This here goes all the way back to the main power plug. What we're gonna do is we're gonna tap in right here on the line. We're just gonna tap in right here because this has power, not right now because it's unplugged, but this goes to the power line and this is powering the rest of the roof. So we're gonna come down and we're gonna tap in right there. And that's why we use what are called inline plugs. But before we do that, I gotta put a male on the end of this extension cord here. And like I said, this is what gives you the flexibility. Don't be scared of this. Nothing's gonna get hurt. This is exactly how professionals do it. So I got a male right there. Push that down in there. Slide that over. Okay. So there we go, there's that. Now we're gonna tap right into this. And so this is called a vampire plug. Now it looks like a female, but the difference is instead of having only one end knocked out, it's got two ends knocked out. And that is so it can straddle the cord. So you just basically put it across the cord like that. See, and it straddles it right there, right across. Oh, by the way, this has contacts in it too, just so you see the contacts in there? So it's really working on the exact same concept as all the rest. So you put that on there. Now the contacts are in. All right, so now you can see these are plugged in and powered. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this one we just made and it's gonna power the ones up there. So here we go. Boom, oh, it's magic. All right, so we still have to get that one hip or whatever that is. Yeah, hip up there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie into the line that we just lit up. So let's go back up there. It's the last piece we got. All right, it's getting dark. We're coming to the end. Remember how I told you in the very beginning, I always cut everything long? I do that on purpose just because I never know how things are gonna end up. But now that I cut that long, I can see it's good. I'm just gonna cut this off and we're gonna tie into this. You see how this one's lit? We're gonna tie right into it. Now, when we actually do the connection, I'm gonna turn it off. I just have it on right now to show you. So we have that there. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put a vampire plug right there. But first I gotta put a male on this one. So let's do that real fast. All right, so now we got our male on. So now we're gonna put our vampire plug on. Remember, it just straddles across like that, just like this. Also called an inline plug. Slide the top over. There we go, now we got our vamp in. All right, we'll turn the lights back on. So, okay, so we got those right there. This vampire plug is now powered up. We're just gonna plug right into it here, right there, and look at that. Boom, now we've just lit up that whole edge. You see how easy that is? Look how clean that is. All right, y'all, here we go. Me and Tim McGraw, we're ready to wrap this up. So we got this all done here. Now I want to point out, we got obviously the top. This is the multicolored filament bulbs, super bright. And then in the ground game, we have net lights that are laid flat across the ground in the same colors. We have a ground game pack that helps you get ground game there. And then also the glimmer sprays. Those are the little things that are sprite standing up. Those are called glimmer sprays. Those are all part of the ground game. You can see you got the top and the bottom and it really ties everything in together. All custom done, all custom cut. I'll give you links below to all this stuff. You can still get this shipped to your house in time for Christmas. This whole thing for two of us took about 5 hours total. That's it, 5 hours total. Completely custom. I overuse the word, but it's really important. There you go, the brightest lights at Christmas, and I'll see you up on the roof.